James Rupert Jacob Murdoch is the younger son of media mogul Rupert Murdoch and the chief executive officer of 21st Century Fox. He is the former chairman and chief executive of News Corporation, Europe and Asia, where he oversaw assets such as News International, publisher of the News of the World newspaper, Sky Italia, Sky Deutschland, and Star TV. He sits on the News Corporation Board of Directors and is a member of the Office of the Chairman. He was made executive chairman of News International in December 2007. He has since resigned from the post. He previously held a non-executive chair at British Sky Broadcasting, in which News Corporation has a controlling minority stake. In April 2012, he was forced to resign as chairman of BSkyB in the wake of the ongoing phone hacking scandal, in which he is implicated. He was formerly an executive vice president of News Corporation, the controlling shareholder of BSkyB, and served on the boards of directors of News Datacom and of News Corporation. In May 2012, a highly critical UK parliamentary report said Murdoch showed willful ignorance of the extent of phone hacking and found him guilty of an astonishing lack of curiosity over the issue. It went on to say that both Murdoch and his father, Rupert, should ultimately be prepared to take responsibility for wrongdoing at the News of the World and News International. Murdoch is a British citizen by birth and a naturalised US citizen. He lost Australian citizenship when his father became a US citizen, but he is eligible to reclaim Australian citizenship. Early life: Murdoch was born in Wimbledon, London, England. He is the fourth of multi-billionaire media mogul Rupert Murdoch's 6 children, and the third with Scottish-born journalist and author Anna Murdoch Mann. As a youngster, James was regarded as the brightest of the Murdoch children, but was also considered something of a rebel. He first came to public notice as a 15-year-old intern at the Sydney Daily Mirror but made headlines in the rival The Sydney Morning Herald after he was photographed asleep on a sofa at a press conference. Murdoch attended Horace Mann School in New York City and graduated in 1991. He then studied film and history at Harvard University, where he edited underground magazines and drew a comic strip for the Collegia Euro unregistered trademark famed satirical magazine, Harvard Lampoon. He dropped out of university in 1995 without completing his studies. With university friends Brian Bratter and Jarrett Meyer, he backed the establishment of Raucous Records, an independent hip-hop record label. The company was bought by News Corporation in 1998. Business career: in 1996 Murdoch joined News Corporation and was appointed chairman of Festival Records. He took charge of News Corporation, a Euro unregistered trademark's internet operations, where he invested in a series of ventures, including financial website The Street and the short-lived online music site Whammo, with mixed results. He also continued to contribute cartoons to US magazine Gear. He is credited with sparking his father a Euro unregistered trademark's interest in the Internet, and he reportedly tried to persuade his father to buy internet company Pointcast for $450 million. It was subsequently sold to another company for $7 million. After installing a new management team at Festival, Murdoch purchased the controlling 51% share of Mushroom Records in 1999, and the merged group was rebranded as Festival Mushroom Records. It was at first thought that News might use FMR as the foundation of a new international entertainment company, but Festival struggled while Murdoch was in charge, and after his departure its fortunes declined rapidly. The company was wound up in late 2005 and its remaining assets were sold. The recording catalogue was sold to the Australian division of Warner Music for only $10 million in October 2005, and the publishing division was sold to Michael Gudinski a month later, for an undisclosed sum. In May 2000, Murdoch was appointed chairman and chief executive of News Corporation, a Euro unregistered trademark ailing Asian satellite service Star Television, which at the time was losing £100 million a year, and he moved to Hong Kong. On February 13, 2003, James became a director of BSkyB. Later that year, he controversially became CEO of BSkyB, in which News Corporation owns a controlling minority stake. His appointment sparked accusations of nepotism, with some commentators and shareholders feeling that the job had not been open to outsiders and that Murdoch was too young and inexperienced to run one of the UK Euro-unregistered trademark's top companies. Following the shock resignation of his brother Lachlan Murdoch from his executive positions at News Corporation on July 29, 2005, James is widely viewed as his fifth Euro-unregistered trademark's heir apparent. On December 7, 2007, Murdoch stepped down as CEO from BSkyB and was appointed non-executive chairman of the company. In a related announcement, Murdoch also took direct responsibility for the strategic and operational development of News Corporation, a Euro-unregistered trademark's television, newspaper, and related digital assets in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. This included holdings such as News International, Sky Italia, Star Group Limited and possibly other News Corporation-related assets. He was based at News International, a Euro-unregistered trademark's headquarters in Wapping, East London. In February 2009, Murdoch was appointed a non-executive director with the British pharmaceutical company GlaxoSmithKline. On August 28, 2009, Murdoch delivered the McTaggart Memorial Lecture at the Edinburgh International Television Festival, in which he attacked the BBC and UK media regulator Ofcom, calling the BBC a Euro-unregistered trademark's expansion chilling, and in this all-media marketplace, the expansion of state-sponsored journalism is a threat to the plurality and independence of news provision, which is so important for our democracy. The BBC chairman, Sir Michael Leon, officially responded, "We have to be careful not to reduce the whole of broadcasting to some simple economic transactions." The BBC a Euro-unregistered trademark's public purposes stress the importance of the well-tested principles of educating and informing, and an impartial contribution to debate in the UK. In April 2010, Murdoch and his associate Rebecca Brooks stormed into the offices of The Independent to complain about an advertisement campaign by the newspaper. The advertisement read, "Rupert Murdoch won a Euro-unregistered trademark to decide this election a Euro you will." In April 2014, it was announced that Murdoch would join the board of advertising startup True-X Media. On June 11, 2015, his father, Rupert, announced he would be leaving his position as CEO of 21st Century Fox and James will take over the position in the near future. Phone hacking scandal and aftermath. On July 7, 2011, James Murdoch announced the closure of the British tabloid newspaper The News of the World in the wake of a phone hacking scandal. On July 19, 2011, along with his father, Rupert, he appeared at a hearing of the Commons Culture, Media and Sport Committee. He appeared once again before the same committee on Thursday, 10 November 2011. James maintained that until late in 2010 he was unaware that more than one rogue reporter from the News of the World tabloid had been involved in phone hacking. This statement was challenged by the former legal manager and editor for the newspaper, who claimed they had informed James of the transcript for Neville email, a potential smoking gun indicating several of the newspaper's journalists may have been involved, during the settlement negotiations with Gordon Taylor in 2008 and alerted him to the potential liability if this document became public. On July 22, 2011, Britain Euro-unregistered trademark's Prime Minister, David Cameron, said that James Murdoch has questions to answer in Parliament, a day after former top executives of the News of the World accused the News Corporation executive of giving mistaken evidence. On November 23, 2011, British newspapers reported James Murdoch resigned as chairman of News Group Newspapers, the holding company above The Sun, News of the World and Times Newspapers Limited, itself owner of The Times and The Sunday Times. NGN is the company subject to a series of lawsuits all related to the phone hacking scandal. James Murdoch's resignation is also said to be related to the December 10, 2011 resignation of another Dow Jones executive, Andrew Langoff, after a company whistleblower revealed an editorial scam and questionable circulation dealings at the Wall Street Journal Europe. On February 29, 2012, News Corporation announced that James Murdoch would be stepping down as executive chairman of its British newspaper arm. The company said he would remain Deputy Chief Operating Officer of News Corporation and focus on the company's international TV business, including continued responsibility for BSkyB. He stepped down also from the GlaxoSmithKline board. On April 3, 2012 he stood down as chairman of BSkyB, but remained on the board. He was replaced as chairman by Nicholas Ferguson. On September 20, 2012 James was criticised by the British Office of Communications, which concluded that he repeatedly fell short of the conduct to be expected of as a chief executive and chairman, and that his lack of action in relation to phone hacking was difficult to comprehend and ill-judged. Personal life: Murdoch was married in 2000 and has 3 children, Anne, Walter, and Emerson, with his American wife Catherine Huff-Schmid Murdoch. Catherine works for the Clinton Climate Initiative, a charitable foundation set up by the former U.S. President, Bill Clinton in 2006. In 2013 they launched Quadrivium Foundation. Murdoch was instrumental in the formation of Sky Pro Cycling and is a keen cyclist himself. He has a black belt in karate. See also: News Media Phone Hacking Scandal, News International Phone Hacking Scandal, Phone Hacking Scandal Reference Lists, Metropolitan Police Role in Phone Hacking Scandal. References. External links: appearances on C-SPAN, published articles at Journalisted, James Murdoch collected news and commentary at Bloomberg News, James Murdoch at Forbes, James Murdoch collected news and commentary at The Guardian, James Murdoch collected news and commentary at The New York Times, James Murdoch collected news and commentary at The Wall Street Journal, James Murdoch at Los Angeles Times.